Well, it's time to go back to my old style of making videos. After the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, it seems like the Fox X-Men universe is finally over. And with that, it is time for the ranking. Because most likely, the next time we get an X-Men related movie, it will most likely be in the MCU, and I don't think we'll continue a lot of what the Fox characters did. Not characters did, but like I just don't think it will continue anything from the Fox universe. And if the Fox universe characters just so happen to be in Avengers Secret Wars, I am not going to count that as a Fox X-Men movie. It's going to be kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home, where obviously Toby and Andrew were in the movie, but I wouldn't say that their movies are a part of the MCU or No Way Home is a part of their movie series, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's just rank all of these Fox X-Men movies from worst to best, from X-Men 2000 to Deadpool and Wolverine, which just recently released. Let's do it, and rest in peace to 20th Century Fox. Both has a studio and this franchise. Starting at number 15, we have, I said 15, I meant to say starting at number 14 is The New Mutants. There's not much to say about this movie. It's just pretty fucking boring. The main character isn't really that interesting, and the twist about what her powers are is pretty obvious by the time you get to the second half of the movie. All the other characters aren't really that notable. Roberto is a far cry from the character we see in X-Men 97, and I feel like the other characters were just bland. It's really just the Anya Taylor-Joy show, and if there's only one positive I have for this movie, I think Her Has Magic was an absolute great casting, and I feel like her character really brought a lot of interesting things, even though her character might low-key be racist, but hey, you know, actually, there was no fucking segue for that. I would love Anya Taylor-Joy to reprise her role as Magic in the MCU, but I just don't think that's going to happen. For what I feel like Anya Taylor-Joy maybe has aged out of the role at this point. I mean, duh, New Mutants was filmed back in fucking 2016. That movie was supposed to come out in 2017, and it didn't come out till 2020. So I don't think she's going to do that. And also, Anya Taylor-Joy is just a bigger actress now than she was back then filming this movie. I mean, yeah, she's a bigger named actress, but I don't know, her recent work of movies, I mean, they've been good, but like none of them have been box office hits. And even when she has been in a box office hit, like Dune 2, she was barely in the movie, so I don't know what I can't talk today. I was gonna say I don't know what that says about her, but I mean, I like her as an actress. Anyway, this became a whole Anya Taylor-Joy if she should return to the MCU, which just goes to show you that there's really nothing to talk about with the New Mutants, and that everybody and their mother wants Anya Taylor-Joy's magic to be one of the rare few Fox characters alongside Deadpool to be in the MCU. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's been years at this point. The New Mutants has been forgotten, and most likely, whenever magic does show up in the MCU, Anya would already be too old for the role. Anyways, let's go to number 13. Number 13, X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's kind of ironic because we needed this movie to exist in order to get something like Deadpool and Wolverine and the first Deadpool movie. So I am kind of actually appreciative of this movie because without this movie, we wouldn't really get Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and we wouldn't have this entire beautiful feud that has happened that has led up to the release of Deadpool and Wolverine. But we're not that far in there yet. We're talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine, and X-Men Origins Wolverine is a very messy movie. It just totally doesn't know what the hell it wants to be. Some of it wants to be a super serious Wolverine story about him having to face his demons of Weapon X. The other part of the movie wants to tease how does it feel for a man that's basically immortal and all the trauma and all the wars he's went through and the PTSD of his experience of being an immortal man. And those are all very serious themes. Obviously, his rivalry with Sabretooth is also very personal and stuff. But then you just have the goofy shit in this movie, like fucking Blob. Gambit was pretty fucking goofy. And it's unfortunate that this was kind of the only adaptation of Gambit that we had for a very long time in terms of being on the big screen in live action. So, not the greatest of things. The ending also kind of he sets it up for the original X-Men trilogy of movies, and I did know people say that this kind of fucked with the continuity and stuff, but like I don't really give a shit. The Fox X-Men continuity was so fucked when fucking Peter Dinklage replaced the black dude has Bolivar Trask. Yeah, Bolivar Trask was an X-Men The Last Stand. He was the black guy in that movie. And then fucking Peter Dinklage plays the same character in Days of Future Past back in the 70s. I just assumed Fox just didn't really give a shit at this point in the franchise. So it is what it is. But X-Men Origins Wolverine is very meh movie to me. Like, again, I don't even think it's like the worst comic book movie I've seen, but it's just pretty bad. And honestly, it's boring, but it does have some moments, except that Deadpool. But again, like I said, if we never got that version of Deadpool, we wouldn't get the Deadpool that we love today. So maybe it is all just a weird paradox, but yeah, I'll walk myself out. Number 12. X-Men Apocalypse. If you want boring superhero, the movie, it's X-Men Apocalypse. This does all of the trends of a classic 2010 superhero movie, or just maybe a superhero movie in general. The Quicksilver scene in the school was kind of cool with the explosion and how he was trying to save all the students. I really like that sequence. And I did really enjoy the stuff with Magneto and his family and stuff, and I actually was very compelled with that storyline. The only problem is that the rest of the movie kind of exists. They decide to introduce Scott, which, ironically, in this ranking, like, we went through two teen versions of fucking Scott Summers here. Scott was a character in this. I actually do like Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. It's just that it's so obvious they were gonna already ham fist the Dark Phoenix shit already, even though we were just fucking introduced to her character. Storm has a badass suit and her powers looks cool, but has a character. I just did not give a shit about Storm. In fact, I found Storm to be really bad. Like, I know a bunch of people did not like Halle Berry in the role. Why was I thinking of Haley Bailey? Is that even right? God damn it, their names are so similar. Halle Berry. I know Halle Berry was kind of criticized for not being a great Storm, but I would take Halle Berry's Storm any day over whatever the fuck this version of Storm is. Apocalypse is just the most generic comic book movie villain you could imagine. There's really nothing to him or Oscar Isaac. He was really trying to act his ass out, but they just gave him fucking nothing to do. And at the end of the day, Magneto kind of fucking carries this movie, as is a trend with a lot of these X-Men movies. But yeah, X-Men Apocalypse was just fucking boring. And honestly, I was counting down on my phone when this movie was gonna end. I had to check the fucking time code thing several times because I felt like it was going for 3 hours. But ironically, it's actually no, it's not ironically. This is one of the longer X-Men movies, and not in a good way. But that leads us to number 11, Dark Phoenix. The few cool things that X-Men Apocalypse had, like the Wolverine sequence and I guess the Wolverine sequence and I don't know, teasing fucking Nathaniel Essex meant absolutely fucking nothing to the creative team of Dark Phoenix, because instead they decided to do this storyline terrible again. We're gonna get to the first time that they did it later on in this video, but it was just like, why are we doing Dark Phoenix again? We were barely just introduced to this version of Jean Grey. We literally just met her in the last movie, and now in her second appearance, we're already doing the goddamn Dark Phoenix storyline. Holy shit, Marvel. That's like if Spider-Man had a movie, and then we immediately already jumped to the symbiote Spider-Man stuff without like any build up. Like we were just freshly introduced to Spider-Man, and boom, all right, he got his symbiote Spider-Man now. Like we just did not get to spend enough time with that version of fucking Peter Parker for us to care about his switch to being evil. And that's how I feel about Jean Grey and her Phoenix stuff. The villains here, what the fuck were the villains here? Like, why were those alien designs so fucking ugly? Jessica Chastain is goddamn sleepwalking through this movie. And by this point, Jennifer Lawrence just did not give a shit about these movies at all. And you could just kind of tell it's all over her face. She was so done with this franchise. And honestly, I was kind of done with the X-Men franchise too. Ironically, this was the last movie on my rewatch when I watched these a few weeks ago. But yeah, Dark Phoenix was just such a nothing burger of a movie, and the only thing that really keeps it above X-Men Apocalypse was that the Magneto scenes in this movie were a lot cooler than the ones in X-Men Apocalypse. And I mean, my glorious King Magneto literally does nothing wrong. As I said, all he does is fucking kill Nazis and just doesn't take bullshit from humans. I don't know why you guys gotta villainize my boy. Actually, yeah, so you could see if I'm talking more highly of Magneto instead of the fucking Phoenix in a movie called Dark Phoenix, then you could just kind of tell how bad they butchered this. Alright, time to get to the top 10, but that doesn't mean that I like some of these movies. I'll tell you to the part of the list where I do actually like some of these movies. All right, number 10, the first X-Men movie. It's mid. I know a lot of people are going to get on my ass like, you weren't there when it first released. Like X-Men is a 24-year-old movie. I was born 4 years after the release of the first X-Men movie. So I try not to judge it in the basis of today's modern day comic book movies, although maybe it'll be better than most of those. So I try not to hold it to the standard of the 2010 era of comic book movies where it was like the old time peak golden age. And quite honestly, even compared to other 2000s Marvel movies like Spider-Man, I found X-Men to be just very mid. I hate using that term since it's so overused, but it's just the perfect way to kind of explain it. Like, it's just mediocre. And the main thing is that this is just X-Men for beginners. For the most part, the movie's just introducing you to the world of the X-Men, who the X-Men are, who the Brotherhood of Mutants are, what is the general conflict that mutants have to deal with humans, and then what's Magneto's plan? He's gonna turn everybody into a mutant. It's pretty basic X-Men shit, in all honesty. It's nothing that far or complex, but what really carries this movie is the casting of the characters. Because despite Bryan Singer wanting to ban fucking comics on his set for a comic book movie, Hugh Jackman sneakily read the Wolverine comics thanks to Kevin Feige, who was, I believe, an associate producer or something on the first X-Men movie, and he delivers a very great performance as Wolverine. The rest of the cast was amazing. Like, I feel like the characters were perfectly casted, but most of them weren't really written well. Storm doesn't really have much to do. Cyclops is a fucking pussy and a bitch. And Jean Grey, Jean Grey actually wasn't that bad. Professor X was also pretty cool, and as I said, my glorious King Magneto, my fucking goat, my fucking king who doesn't stand for Nazi shit. Hell yeah, I would 100% be on Magneto's side. Unless I turn into some fucking abomination like Toad, if I was to be turned into a mutant or something. But yeah, honestly, if you want somebody to get into X-Men, this is the easiest way for them to just get a general understanding of what the X-Men are and the type of conflicts they have to deal with and who are the characters that are usually at play within X-Men storyline. Alright, number 9, X-Men The Last Stand. To me, this is at the same level of quality as the first one, where it is just okay. Not amazing or anything. It's just whatever as a movie. Maybe because, again, I just didn't have that experience of seeing these for the first time because, I can only judge X-Men off the perspective that I was born years after the movie's release. So I just was not there for the hype of the first X-Men movie. But I do have a feeling, not feeling, I do know that this movie was riding the coattails of X2. And don't worry, X2 is very high up on this list, and you'll see where it is. But X-Men The Last Stand feels like a drop in quality. Maybe one has to do with changing up directors from a piece of shit to a piece of shit. And then two, you also had that they had two different storylines going on in this movie. One about the mutant cure, which you could tell the directors really wanted to do, and if fleshed out well, could have been really interesting. And then you have the Dark Phoenix storyline, where they originally butchered it. Like, why the hell did you kill Cyclops off screen? Why did you kill Cyclops off screen? What the fuck in an X-Men movie? Rogue, the character known in the comics for loving her mutant abilities, despite having probably one of the ones that has a more shittier deal than the other ones. Rogue in the comics loves being a mutant, and in this movie, well, they just make her get rid of her powers with the mutant cure. And they could have done something here where Rogue gets the mutant cure. Maybe she doesn't really like it. Maybe she misses her old abilities and she realizes the benefits, and then maybe she gets her powers back. Because clearly Magneto got fucking stabbed by the cure. Like 3 whole vials of the cure, and bro was perfectly fine. He was able to move metal by the end of this movie, and he was perfectly fine. And we see Rogue again in the same continuity still have powers and shit. So I don't know, man. It's a very bizarre storyline. You could just tell they just did not give a shit about the mutant cure storyline. But at the same time, it didn't really help them because they didn't really put much effort to the Dark Phoenix. So you just had 2 half-ass storylines carrying this movie. But why is it over the first X-Men, you may ask? And it's really quite simple too. I just had more fun watching this one than the first one. And that simply has to do with the action sequences and the X-Men's abilities being on screen. Hey, sometimes it's a simple reason for why another movie is higher than another movie in a ranking. But maybe The Last Stand definitely has a lot more problems than the first one, but I would say it's a lot more entertaining. Alright, getting into the stuff that I kind of like. Everything from this and up are movies that I like. But number 8, The Wolverine. What really stops this from being a movie that I really enjoyed and really liked is that the third act completely kind of falls apart. But before I get there, I think that the overall finally having Wolverine go to Japan was cool. Obviously, Japan is a big part of Wolverine's character in the comics, so it was finally cool for the movies to have an adventure where Wolverine goes to Japan and, he has to face the question of, does he want to be immortal anymore? What is the price of being mortal, and what's the price of being immortal? Having Wolverine fight fucking ninjas, the scene where he gets his powers back and the dude fucking stabs him in the chest and he's like, I'm the Wolverine, and just has your testosterone pumping, or maybe it has all the damn, that sounded, I don't know why I said girls like that, like I was Gru, but maybe it'll have all the girls just fanning, saying, oh my god, Hugh Jackman's too hot, if they're into Hugh Jackman. I don't fucking know nowadays. But the point is that there are really good parts of the Wolverine, but overall, as I said, the whole Silver Samurai twist was a little odd, and we just didn't really need it. I mean, you already had his son, who was absolutely fucking tweaking. He could have just been the villain of this movie. You didn't really need to bring back the old friend. But yeah, honestly, the Wolverine is more of a stepping stone. It was more for James Mangold and Hugh Jackman to level up to doing a better Wolverine movie. So although this has its moments, it's overall pretty forgettable. And in the grand scheme of things, it's the movie that is the most forgotten compared to any other Fox X-Men movie that, was of this time period. All right, number 7, the first Deadpool movie. Now we're getting into stuff that I liked. I like the first Deadpool movie. I don't love it as much as I used to back in middle school. That's because some of the humor That's because some of the humor has been kind of to me, to be honest. Like, some of the more childish, dirty minded humor of the movie. But I mean, well, the certain ones, because there's a lot of them in this movie, and I found some of them funny. Obviously, the opening sequence is just iconic at this point. It's the one, like, in terms of if you want to look for popular superhero opening for a movie, Deadpool is usually in that top brass, and that's because of how revolutionary it was for its time. You didn't really have a comic book movie back then that was willing to kind of poke fun at the genre. I guess you could say. And that was pretty exciting and pretty entertaining. The story is overall pretty basic, but Ryan Reynolds really carries. I don't want to say carry because I think everybody does their job very well. I found the side characters to be very interesting. I liked Wade Wilson. I thought Ryan Reynolds did a really good job as Deadpool. I even like Vanessa. My only problem is I did not really care for the villain of this movie, and that just tends to be a trend with these Deadpool movies that I just don't really care for the villain. But Ajax is more memorable than another character in this franchise that I will really. When we get there, we'll get there. But overall, I like the first Deadpool. Wow, these things kind of flow together because at number 6 is Deadpool 2. Take every positive I said about Deadpool, and in my opinion, I think Deadpool 2 does it slightly better. I feel like the comedy flows a lot better. I think Ryan Reynolds really is coming to his own as Deadpool, and the amazing side characters are all here, but now you got great new additions like Cable, Domino, and Fire Fist. I actually think Juggernaut was a pretty good villain for Deadpool 2. I think he was way better than Ajax. Has a actual antagonist, and I guess you could say the school that was torturing the mutants, they were also kind of the villains, the more shallow villains, but they were villains nevertheless. The entire opening sequence of Deadpool killing a bunch of people internationally was fucking amazing. The action sequences in this is probably the best of the whole series. In all honesty, it is probably the best of the whole series. And I felt like overall, Deadpool 2 was just firing on all cylinders. It's not the greatest fucking masterpiece of a film, but I can't lie, I had a lot of fun watching Deadpool 2. It's one of those movies that is able to poke fun at the comic book movie space and where it was at that time period, while also being able to be a very beautiful and touching movie. I think I heard somebody say that this movie had more of a shallow attempt at emotion, which is ironic because I feel like this is actually the most emotional of the Deadpool movies. That's just me though. I think Deadpool 2 is really strong, but I don't know. I don't think this is recency bias. I'm definitely gonna rewatch it. Also, I'm gonna rewatch very soon. But I liked Deadpool and Wolverine the most out of the entire Deadpool trilogy. Now, it's going to be hard to talk about this without spoilers in a ranking video. So, all I'm going to say is I think it delivered on the promise of what it was. It was a Deadpool and Wolverine adventure. I'm not a big cameo person. I'm not that. I've been one of those people that has been a little bit burned by the MCU's multiverse narrative. Like, I just don't really fucking care about the MCU's approach to the multiverse. But this movie, I feel, was probably the best that they've handled the concept of the multiverse. I know some people said Spider-Man No Way Home, but I just mean in terms of actually using the concept. I think Deadpool and Wolverine used it a lot better, and it fits the character of Deadpool more because he's more of a comedic character, and those movies are comedies. So having these cameos and the multiverse stuff actually works in favor for the character of Deadpool. But in all honesty, yeah, that's as far as I'm gonna go. I thought Deadpool Wolverine was a fucking blast. It does have its issues with some plot points just not making sense or some of them being a little bit underbaked. But through all of that, you just have a movie that just wants to have a fun time with its audience, and I think perfectly nails it. It's really not trying to be this thing that it's really not trying to be this big event movie that Well, I mean, it's a big event movie, but like in the sense of something like Infinity War and Endgame, I feel it's a little bit different compared to movies like that. But overall, yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was definitely good. I can't wait to talk spoilers in some other video. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's so far my favorite of the Deadpool movies, but I am gonna rewatch it to really confirm. I know this is my final ranking, and when I really think about it, I really did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine the most of the Deadpool trilogy. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to my guns of it being at number 5. All right, starting at number 4, X2. This is the best of the old X-Men movies. I feel like this is where they used all of the mutants for the most part. Actually, let me just say this is where they used most of the mutants well, because again, Cyclops is a fucking bitch and a pussy in this one as well. Cyclops was just getting no respect in this original trilogy, man. But the villain of Stryker was very compelling, especially since he connects to Wolverine's past, and they go on to have a legendary rivalry sort of in this franchise. You also have Iceman getting to kind of show out more in the whole scene with his family. Rogue is more of a character in this movie, although she still doesn't fucking do shit. Like, we had 3 movies with Rogue, and she really didn't do shit. But I thought the Jean Grey Wolverine romance, I'm mostly take it or leave it type of dude with that. But I feel like this was the more compelling of like how they've done it. Storm was actually great. Nightcrawler, the entire president assassination sequence was pretty cool. I just feel like Bryan Singer was finding his groove with X2, and although he is a fucking piece of shit human being, I can't deny that he was directing his ass off with this movie, and I would at least be curious with what a X-Men 3 under Bryan Singer would have been. Although, would that really have changed if the studio was still going to push for Dark Phoenix? I have no idea. But at number 3, we have X-Men Days of Future Past. This is another Bryan Singer X-Men movie, where he had came back to the franchise after a failed stint at DC with Superman Returns, and he united the old cast of the X-Men movies and the prequel cast of First Class, and united them into one epic time travel story where Wolverine has to go back into the past, at least subconsciously, to basically make Charles Xavier and Magneto team up to stop the extinction of mutants in the future, because the Sentinels are introduced in the 70s and they gotta go fix it and stuff. The action sequences were pretty cool. The whole Beast and Magneto fight was cool. The whole Beast and Wolverine fight was cool. The whole sequence of Magneto hunting down Mystique, I think the whole action sequence with all the characters near the White House was pretty badass. Like, again, as I said, my King Magneto could do no wrong. But I can't really talk about this movie without mentioning Quicksilver, who was one of the best additions to the Fox X-Men franchise, and his sequence of breaking out of the prison was iconic instantly. Although I do like the house one a little bit more in X-Men Apocalypse, but this one was just pretty badass. Overall, X-Men Days of Future Past was an excellent X-Men movie, and it really showed when this franchise gets the room to breathe and tell its narrative in a long format where it suits. Again, the story suits the long format, unlike X-Men Apocalypse, that X-Men is truly at its peak. But number 2 is X-Men First Class. I just love X-Men the First Class. It's just a great X-Men story because it's pretty simple. It's about the mutants having to fight the Russians and stop the nuclear war from happening because these other mutants are meeting with Russia and stuff. And all of this, sort of moral ambiguity. I can't talk. But I'm just going to say all the morality of Magneto's character here was the best. You really kind of see why Charles and Eric are best friends, but why they do eventually become bitter rivals. I do like the small parts of Magneto's origins that we got, similar to the first X-Men movie, but It's a lot more expanded in this one, and you kind of understand the motivations that Magneto has, because it's reasonable. He's fucking killing Nazis. That's all the fucking motivation you need. He was 100% right, and the mutants were indeed turned on. Who was right? Magneto was right. The side characters of mutants were also fantastic here. This is the best performance Jennifer Lawrence gave as Mystique. I thought Beast was pretty good here. The arc of having to accept who he is was great. I felt like all the other first class of X-Men, their motivations and why they were there, it all made sense. And honestly, this is like it wasn't this over complex storyline from the comics they tried to adapt, but I really thought it was just a simple X-Men mission in the 60s was honestly some of the best, was honestly the best just standalone X-Men story that they told. But at number one, Logan. This movie's beautiful. This movie is beautiful. It's probably one of my favorite comic book movies. Definitely top 10 favorite comic book movies. And a lot of that has to do with we will never get a story like this in a cinematic universe nowadays. Like, a lot of cinematic universes are worried about timelines, continuity, how things connect. Logan ain't worried about that, and instead it uses your emotion of having seen Hugh Jackman's Wolverine for up to 17 years by that point, and it really plays on it very well. Wolverine's character is grown up. He's getting poisoned by the adamantium, and I really like how this, I guess you could say how, just super fucked up Logan was just mentally at this point, and how having to kind of basically take care of his own daughter slowly makes him become the hero that he is. Again, this is the first time I actually felt sad that Charles Xavier died, because usually when he dies in these movies I don't really give a shit, but here I felt like Sir Patrick Stewart actually gave a great emotional performance that really made you actually feel sad for the character. Obviously Logan's death walked so Iron Man's death could run, and I love the beautiful grave sites that they have for Logan at the end of the movie. I thought the villains worked here perfectly. I like the whole representation of Wolverine basically having to fight his inner demons. I really think that this movie is fantastic, and I thank James Mangold and Hugh Jackman for making this movie, and that it was able to be an R-rated comic book movie thanks to the success of Deadpool. And with that, that's it. That's all of the Fox X-Men movies. Which one was your favorite Fox X-Men movie? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.